Jaya Giri Govinda, Giri Govinda, Giri Govinda, Jaya Giri Govinda. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Sri Samadhi's Divine Grace, Aisi Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Founder Church Srila Prabhupada Ki, BBT Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki, Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Stotra Sri Samad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Thakur Ki, Sri Sat Goswamis Ki, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki, Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Sri Mathura Dham Ki, Sri Mayapur Navravip Dham Ki, Sri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Gangamai Jamunamai Ki, Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki, the Lordship Sri Sri Radharanath Ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaura Hari Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki, ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki, Guru Parampara Ki, Vaishnav Thakur Ki, Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja Ki, Nitai Go Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. So welcome dear devotees and guests to the Sunday Love Feast class at Sri Sri Radharadhana Temple. We're very happy that you attended this program this morning. Devotees, there's just a few announcements before we start with the class proper. The Love Feast Prasadam that's being prepared today is being done by the Food for Life team of Durban South. This is with Ramananda Priya, Bindu Madhava Prabhus, and the other devotees that complement this service. So when you do see them, please thank them and show your gratitude to them. Also, if you'd like to be part of this initiative, this weekly initiative, you're welcome to contact His Grace Dayal Chaitanya Prabhu, who can connect you either with serving by preparing the actual feast, by cleaning vegetables, or if you'd like to support them in any way, you can contact him directly. His name is Dayal Chaitanya Prabhu. He has one request. He says that when prasad is being served, he says it shouldn't be done, at the bottom when they're doing the serve out before 1 o'clock. After that. So prasadam is served between 1 and 1:45. And those are the ones that prasadam will actually be served to the devotees. So please be mindful of that, and he thanks you all for your cooperation for that. Devotees, we'd like to welcome today His Grace Jaisacinandana Prabhu. His Grace Jaisacinandana Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Giriraj Swami, and he's been serving at Sri Sri Radharadhana Temple for many, many years, giving instruction, guidance, and advice to many of the devotees, and he's been an instrumental mentor to many devotees in our community. Prabhu, I'd like to welcome you to the Vyasasana. Prabhu's topic for this discussion this Sunday morning is setting the mood for Kartik. As you know, Next week is the first day of Kartik, 9th October. Haribol. So this auspicious month brings a lot of service opportunity. If any of the devotees want to serve during this auspicious month of Kartik, kindly contact His Grace Balaram Prabhu from the festival committee, His Grace Rupa Vilas Prabhus. If you're unable to contact them, you're welcome to see me and we'll get you engaged in the service. There's many opportunities to serve during this month, and one of the services is, offering the lamps to the devotees that are, going to be attending this wonderful month-long festival. Devotees also be mindful that there's a community database that needs to be completed by all devotees, and guests and members of the society. It's been shared on our social media pages. If you'd like that link, you can welcome to see me. Hare Krishna. We'll now hand over to His Grace, Jaisacinandana Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Gibaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Gibaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Gibaradari. Jaisacinandana Prajajanaranjana. Jaisacinandana Prajajanaranjana. Jaisacinandana Prajajanaranjana. Jaisacinandana Prajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. The Thai go premanandi. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramas Parivrajaka Acharya Stasasisamad. His Divine Grace is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Bhakti Vedanta Purports Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Those lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to the program. So it has been the topic, the prelude to the Kartik festival, which takes place the following Sunday. I'm sure you all are anticipating this great, wonderful festival for 1 month. So today we're discussing the background of this wonderful pastime. And we're going to read from the 10th canto, chapter 10, text number 17, the deliverance of the Yamula Arjuna trees. I'll read the verse and you can do the translation together. Daridrayasyeva yujyante sadhava samadashina sadbi shinoti tam tarsham tato harad visudayam. Everyone word for word. Daridrasya, of a person who is poverty stricken. Eva, indeed. Yujyante, may easily associate. Sadhava, saintly persons. Samadashinaha, although sadhus are equal to everyone, to the poor and the rich, the poor can take advantage of their association. Sadbhi, by the association of such saintly persons. Shinoti, reduces. Tam, the original cause of material suffering. Tarsham, the desire for material enjoyment. Tata, thereafter. Arhat, very soon. Vishuddhyate, his material contamination is cleansed off. His material contamination is cleansed off. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Saintly persons may freely associate with those who are poverty-stricken, but not with those who are rich. A poverty-stricken man, by association with saintly persons, very soon becomes uninterested in material desires, and the dirty things within the core of his heart are cleansed away. You can repeat responsibly. Saintly persons may freely associate with those who are poverty-stricken, but not those who are rich. A poverty-stricken man, by association with saintly persons, very soon becomes uninterested in material desires, and the dirty things within the core of his heart are cleansed away. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. It is said, Mahat vichalanam nirinam grihinam dina chaitasam. Bhagavatam 10.8.4. The only business of a saintly person or sannyasi, a person in the renounced order, is to preach Krishna consciousness. Sadhus, saintly persons, want to preach to both the poor and the rich. But the poor take more advantage of the sadhus preaching than the rich do. A poor man receives sadhus very quickly, offers them obeisances, and tries to take advantage of their presence, whereas a rich man keeps a big greyhound dog at his door so that no one can enter his house. He posts a sign saying, "Beware of the dog," and avoids the association of saintly persons whereas the poor man keeps his door open for them and thus benefits by the association more than a rich man does. Because Narad Muni in his previous life was the poverty-stricken son of a maidservant, he got the association of saintly persons and later became the exalted Narad Muni. This was his actual experience. Therefore, he is now comparing the position of a poor man with that of a rich man. And Srila Prabhupada quotes from Kapila Dev from the 3rd canto, where he preaches to his mother, Devahuti. Satam prasanga mama virya samvidho pavanti rid karna rasayana katha tajoshanat asvapa vargavatmani shradaratir bhaktir anukram mahishyati. Familiar? You like that? 3:25:25, that is the reference. If one gets advantage of association with saintly persons, by the instructions, one becomes more and more purified of material desires. Then Prabhupada quotes another verse from the Prema Vivata. Krishna Bayur Mukha Haya Boga Vanchakare Nikatasta Mahitare Japatiya Dare. Material life means that one forgets Krishna and that one increases in one's desires for sense gratification. But if one receives the advantage of instructions from saintly persons and forgets the importance of material desires, one is automatically purified. Chaito darpanam majanam baba mahadab agni nirvapanam shishastakam 1. Unless the core of a materialistic person's heart is purified, he cannot get rid of the pangs of Baba Mahadavik Avagni, the blazing fire of material existence. Om Agyana Timrindasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksharum Militam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the background of the Damodar Leela, how it pans out, and the scenes prior to the actual Leela. Yeah, the scenario is that these two brothers of Kuvera is the treasurer of heaven, and he has two sons named Nala Kuvera and Mani Griva. And apparently they were very intoxicated, drinking Baruni, a favorite drink of the higher planets. Yesterday we were talking about we get pleasures from drinking in the lower planets, mainstay and all this. But this is low class compared to what is in the higher planets. So they're drinking Baruni, and they became very intoxicated. Of course, when one becomes he loses his sense of control. He cannot control his senses. And they were stark naked, playing in the lake, and along with them were some young girls. And they were also naked, completely oblivious of the surroundings, of who's who. So along at that time, this great sage, Narad Muni, happens to be coming that way. And he saw the situation. And the girls also saw him. The ladies were there, and they became very embarrassed because they were, and this is sadhu coming. At least they had some etiquette that they tried to cover themselves from the view of Narad Muni. But the two brothers, they did not care about this sadhu. And Narad Muni is not just an ordinary sadhu, he's very powerful sadhu. He's one of the great sons of Brahma and a great devotee of the Lord also. And he's a spiritual master. He's a guru also of so many wonderful personalities. So when Narad saw the spectacle of such things, and he saw that the brothers were completely out of their mind, and he said, how should I help them? You know, they are very... Jai, Sri Sri Radharanath Ki Jai. So a sadhu, he cares for the suffering of people. When he sees suffering, he cares, it pains him. So he's thinking, what should I do? How should I bring them to come to their senses? And he cursed. He cursed them to become trees. One may think, oh, what a terrible curse. But this is the favor of the Lord also. That this curse later turns out to be a great benediction. And Prabhupada even mentioned Narad Muni. When he was, before he became Narad Muni, he was a Gandhava. Thursday we were discussing this. Narad Muni. Before he was a Gandhava. Gandhavas from the higher planets, they're very powerful, very, very beautiful, looking, handsome, very physical in nature, beautiful voices, they sing very beautifully, and they like fighting, and they're very powerful in the prowess of fighting. But somehow it so happened that there was a kirtan party going past. Harinam. And what was his name there? Upabarana, that was his name before he became. And was with his friends, and they were mocking, making fun of this Sankirtan party going past. So the sadhus in turn, they cast him to take, but in the earth planet, under very difficult circumstances, poverty-stricken. So that's how he recounts his life also. And of course he was, his mother was a innkeeper. And he did not know who his father was. And he remembers, he was very gentle. He says, I was not frivolous as a young boy. And fortunate for enough, there was some very saintly persons that were visiting. And they were known as the Bhakti Vedantas. It was Chaturmasya, that period of the 4 months. They could not travel. He said sadhus cannot travel because of the difficulty of the terrain and difficulty of getting foodstuffs. So they stayed for 4 months. And they were discussing Bhagavad Katha. Bhagavad Katha. And Narad Muni was hearing from them, very raptly hearing, all the time. For the 4 months, he had Krishna Katha. And just by that, he said he became purified. And by serving these great sadhus, he became purified from all his contamination. And of course, at some point his mother left the body and he went along. He did the last rites and he carried on. It's a very beautiful description given in the Bhagavatam of how he traveled all the way. And eventually, he saw the Lord. By some yogic process, he saw the Lord in a brief moment. And that brief moment was his purification. That's when he gave up his whole body and got the body of Narad Muni. So here is in another scenario where he has to curse these brothers for their own benefit. For their own benefit. Yeah, we're reading now. When somebody is wealthy, it's very difficult to preach to such people. As Prabhupada is saying here, they surround themselves very high security fence, isn't? And you have to press a buzzer and tell who you are, isn't? Or make appointment. You can't just go into these people's houses. Whereas a poor man, his door is always opened. He has nothing to hide, nothing. And he's very, very happy, very, very happy to receive sadhus. And the sadhus are also happy to preach to such persons. So, these two brothers were cursed. He cursed them to remain as trees, because trees, when one gets a body of a tree, that means he's been very sinful. Either his exhibition of lust or walking around without clothes. In our Vaishnava culture, we taught that we should not even be naked at any given time, even when you're bathing, right? Even when you're bathing, very discreetly cover yourself. Even the ladies, very discreetly, you go to the kunds, on parikrama, you see, very discreetly they cover themselves and they're bathing. They're not exposing themselves in any way. So this is the culture that we don't expose ourselves as such. Even when you're thinking alone in the bathroom, but always cover yourself, what we call a loincloth or some kind of cloth that covers at least your bottom. There was one occasion in the Mahabharata where, I was just remembering the story today, where Gandhari is considered to be one of the most chastest women in the Vedic history. Gandhari is the wife of Dhritarashtra, yes, the mother of Duryodhana and his 100 brothers and sister. Gandhari, when she married Dhritarashtra, she voluntarily put on a blindfold. She voluntarily, so that she would not see another man except her own husband. So therefore she's considered one of the chastest women. And when a woman becomes said that they develop such potency when they observe that chastity. And one day she saw Duryodhana and she said, Duryodhana, you must come to my inner chambers, but you must not wear any clothes. You must come naked. And somehow Krishna happened to be there and he overheard that conversation. He overheard that. And Duryodhana, true to he was walking the next day, he was walking towards his mother's chamber, naked. And Krishna accosted him and told him, what are you doing? This is the queen. You can't walk around naked in front of the queen. Go and put something on. So he put on a lungi that covered the loins at least his loins, at least cover that part of your body and go and see your mother. So Duryodhana listened to Krishna. Thought it was all a trick. Krishna tricked him. Anyway, he went to his mother, and his mother's, she had a blindfold. And the moment she removed the blindfold, whatever her eyes saw of Duryodhana that was not covered became what? Immortalized. Yeah, it could indestructible. But whatever was covered, became his weakest link. And she admonished him, said, "Why did you do this? Why? I asked you to come without any clothes on, so that, So this was the turning point in how Duryodhana lost the fight with Bhima later, in the war, Kurukshetra. And they're fighting. They fought for like 28 days, some of them, and there was no victor. And they both were getting tired of club fighters. Both were very expert in club fighting. Duryodhana. And strangely enough, Balaram was very much attached to Duryodhana. I don't know how that was. Somehow he liked Duryodhana. He had this affinity for Duryodhana, and he wanted Duryodhana to marry Subhadra, his sister Krishna and Balaram. But Krishna had other ideas. Krishna said, no. So he told Arjuna, the day of the Swayamvara ceremony, you go and you kidnap her. There's one type of marriage, it's a Kshatriya marriage, where she's kidnapped and she gets married to Arjuna. Of course, Duryodhana was very upset about it, but what could he do? He could not end. And Balaram could not do anything because his brothers, they are brothers, they have great respect for each other. So this is how Subhadra was saved from marrying Duryodhana. So the curse of Narad that they violated of not being respectful to a sadhu, that was they had to pay a price for that. And they were cursed to become trees for a long duration of time. And that was, Narad Muni had calculated that this whole past time. Of course, Narad Muni can see past, present, future. He's a pure devotee of the Lord. A sadhu can see past, present, and future. And he saw at some point these brothers will get liberated. After a long, long time, maybe thousands of years, they eventually will get liberated. And this comes to the pastime where the famous Damodar Leela, isn't it, where Krishna is, for being a naughty boy, for stealing butter and breaking the butter pots, he was tied to a grinding mortar. And he eventually pulled the big grinding mortar into the courtyard. Just two trees were in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. They were Yamala Arjuna trees. And they had to wait for liberation till the time Krishna performed this Leela, this Damodar Leela, for them to get liberation. So this is how, when Krishna lodged between these two trees, and he was pulling this big grinding mortar, and he wedged it between these two trees, and in that way these two trees fell to the ground with a thunderous crash. And this is how these two brothers got, they regained their form of demigods, and they offered their obeisance they got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. Although they were cursed, they eventually got the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they went back to spiritual world. So this is the essence of these pastimes, how they connect. Of course, you're all anticipating the great month of what you're going to do, how you're going to approach it, what should we do, what vrat should we do. Isn't all this, I'm sure, is going through your mind. We're going to eat less, give up all your favorite things for the month. I'm going to do that. And chant more, read more, do more books. Amazing, Bhataji. She did. She went and I told her, don't come back with many books. And she came back, Mother Rukmini. Amazing, so inspiring. You see, at her age, she's like 70. 70? 70? I'm making you older. 72. 62. Anyway, you don't look 70. You look very, very youthful and full of energy. And I think you're very inspiring to all the younger. And I'm sure Prabhupada will be so pleased by your efforts. And your Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Just going out. Amazing, amazing example of that. And I think we should all take a leaf from her book and go and touch her feet and get the mercy of how, and go out with her, get experience of going out. It's not easy to go out and do books. Like we read in here how we get tormented and criticized, isn't it? Roger Prabhu was saying yesterday, what you told me something yesterday when you went on books? Yeah. He was approaching some guy in a car, and as soon as he went towards the guy, he closed his window. And the famous one, you go and the children say, my father said he's not here. My mother say they're not here. It's just unfortunate. They're just unfortunate. They're getting the special mercy of these. They don't know the value of this potency of these books. Raghunath Bhatta also, stalwart book distributor, Patita Pavan, Bilva Mangal Thakur, the emperor of book distribution. Wonderful. It was wonderful. Of course, forgive me if I didn't mention anybody else, but your whole, everyone can go out. Just now the marathon will start, the book marathon. You can also meditate and pray in this month of Kartik. Krishna gives special mercy. It's very hard to get Krishna. You can get the demigods very easy, bribe them and get things, favors. But Krishna is very hard. But in this month of Kartik, he's very freely availing himself, not only to devotees, but to everyone. Everyone. Even the most sinful person can get the darshan, the mercy of Krishna. So it's a special month of Kartik, and we should take full advantage. And go. I know we have this big truck that goes out, and it's once a wonderful service. They go out and they give lamps to people to offer, and they distribute prasadam and books. All this is creating good fortune. So this is our business of the devotees, is to go out and create that good fortune for those who are very unfortunate. The word Prabhupada used here, in this translation, Daridra, means they're poverty-stricken. Daridra means poor. Daridra Narayan. The Mayavadi say, poor Narayan. Everyone is Narayan. No, it's not like that. Daridra means they're poverty-stricken in terms of they're ignorant, avidya. Not that in terms of wealth. They're poverty-stricken. Even the wealthiest man is also Daridra because he's avidya, he's ignorant of his constitutional nature, or what he's meant to do. He's just intoxicated like these by his wealth. Some people just become intoxicated like that by the wealth, by the cars, by the families. This is my grandson. I have so many grandsons, so many grandchildren. So it's all very, very materialistic. And now is a chance, this Kartik month, is how we can pray to Krishna, even meditate on that, and how we can bring more conditioned souls to the Sunday program, to the festivals, to hear Krishna Katha, to chant Hare Krishna. So this is our special, for the devotees, this is their strength they must get from that. Not that they are enjoying the we have festivals not for our enjoyment, so that we can bring those who don't have an opportunity in their life. They're so busy in their life doing other things. So this is a chance to bring those people, those personalities who are very much intoxicated by the materialistic lifestyle. So this is a very wonderful story of that, and Prabhupada gives very nice purport of how wealth, and if it's not used properly, can be very detrimental, can destroy us. We see that in people's lives, how they simply intoxicated by all this, they cannot control. We see big dictators, big leaders of society, how they become mesmerized by all this, and they do so many atrocities and atrocious things. So this is not very pleasing in the eyes of the Supreme Lord, in the eyes of the sadhus. Therefore they have this concerted effort. We should all make that concerted. We should pray harder. We should pray in this month to get more the momentum of how we can carry on. But also there's people may take this month of Kartik and only for that time, it's kind of like a fruitive endeavor, that only for that month they very kind of holy, or and the rest of the month they go back to their old ways, isn't it? Like, the example of the elephant bathing, or this prayaschitta, this atonement. This atonement, it's very artificial, it's superficial. And the real desire we must give up, the desire for sinful activity must be given up, must be burnt out. Probably use the word Mahadavagni. Must be burnt out by the potency of the holy name. Nothing else. No other process can. You can neutralize, but it cannot remove the desire. I was reading in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada mentions like that. The other process can neutralize, mitigate, but they cannot just remove that desire. So only by Krishna consciousness, by the process, can we remove that sinful desire. So this is the real priority, this is the real atonement. And Parishit Maharaj, so what is the use of atonement if people cannot give up the desire for sinful act? What is the point? It's just a recurring thing, like the elephant bathing. For hours he spends bathing in the lake, and then he goes back and rolls in the. This is the analogy of that. Also, we go back into our old ways. Or we go to the holy places, we take bath, and we think we're purified now, and come back and do our nonsense again. So that's not real prayaschitta. The desire. Therefore, this lesson for Narad Muni to give to these was to purify them from that. It was a harsh lesson. Imagine you've been cursed to take birth as a tree for thousands of lifetimes. Imagine that. So it's quite hard. But that was a purification for them. to remove the last vestiges of sinful activity, of doing things independent of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. So I don't want to take too much from, but you will hear more during the course of this month. I'm sure if you have any comments or questions, we can take. Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu.
I was just thinking of the point about a couple of points. One about Prabhupada's beware. Was it Prabhupada's purport, right? The 10 cat. Yeah. Beware of the dog. But in his discussions when they were dealing with managerial matters, he said we should discuss and we should fight like cats and dogs. And after we have fought like cats and dogs, whatever we decide, we should go by that. So use that, to show that, like even cats and dogs, they fight, But whilst I was going on Sankirtan, I saw on someone's gate, never mind the dog, beware of the owner. So I thought that was really... The other thing he was talking about Varuni, I was quite humorous because I was laughing to myself and I was thinking of you actually. And you made this Varuni. I've never drunk in my life. I've never taken intoxication. But I remember once you made it and we took this thing. Hell, it was just like knocked us out, So quite a long time ago. You remember?
Yes.
So yeah, but just thinking of the first night of Kartik Sharad Purnima, and it's such a auspicious day, Sharad Purnima.
Yeah.
And I was always thinking, what was the real reason for the cowherd girls to run like that in the dead of night, to see Krishna? But Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a very beautiful commentary. And he says, when Krishna played his flute, he engaged in an act of thievery. And he stole all the good qualities of the gopis. It was like, the way he says, he stole all their goods. And he describes it like their shyness, their sobriety, their fear, their discrimination, the power of discrimination. He stole that all away. So when they were running, they were running to Krishna to go get back their goods.
Oh, okay.
So it's an interesting way. And then as they were running, their earrings, the sharp shade earrings, were like just moving backward and forward. And he gives such a very beautiful description. Yeah, it was just so amazing, and they're running to get back their goods. But then he also explains that that they neglected all their activities, but despite neglecting all those activities, they still considered to be chaste. That's what the point I was trying to make, because you were speaking of chastity, and because Krishna is the real husband.
Right.
And he kind of clarifies that. So I think, if you're giving your next talk, it would be nice if you could speak on that. That subject matter is so interesting. I mean, I won't be here, but it will be very nice. But I really appreciated the way you presented everything. It was really very wonderful.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Balaram Prabhu. Thanks.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, thank you so much for your presentation. And I think it has helped greatly to set the mood for the month of Kartik. And I know that a lot of devotees think of different things that they can do, differently during this period of time, some kind of greater commitment. And so I thought it also would be important to remind the devotees that they can study all of this wonderful knowledge that you are imparting through the Bhaktivedanta College of Education and Culture. There are many courses that are being offered. So for those that have not studied before, or those that have not undertaken certain of the courses that are on offer, it would be a good time to encourage them to do that. There's also a lot of devotees that often aspire for initiation, and sometimes they are not aware that out of the many requirements, one of the requirements is that there has to be this strong philosophical understanding of Krishna consciousness. So there are certain courses that are required for first initiation as well as for second initiation. So I think it would be a good time for those who haven't to kind of start on this important path during this important month.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
I'm sure you'll all hear that. So Balaram Prabhu is the rector of the Bhaktivedanta College. He has a wonderful service. He's very much involved for many, many years. So please take advice from him. And anything you need to know. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhu. Thank you. That was such a wonderful class. I wanted to ask, you were mentioning Brat for Kartik.
Yeah.
What prasadam are you giving up?
Khichdi. No. I'll eat when I'm hungry. Yes. Ooh, boy.
I just want to say this chant. It's from the Krishna Yajurveda first. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Nama. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Nama. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Nama. In the holy Mahakali Sahasram Nama Stotram, translated by a Sanskrit Vedic scholar, Mahakali is known as Radha.
Hare Krishna.
Radhika.
Please keep to the topic.
Okay. It's
I'm not going to
regarding
entertain your
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Thank you.
She is a beloved of Krishna and wife of Krishna, but also she is, I'll keep to the topic, she is...
Pick to what we discussed,
Yes,
yeah,
with
and then
regard-
ask
yeah.
question.
She is Devaki, which is the mother of Krishna. She causes divinity to manifest. So I just want to know, one might ask, how is it possible for Goddess Kali to be both Radha and Devaki? It's just that understanding is limited, so we question this. Because as Srila Prabhupada says that we have the mentality of Sudras, and the world is full of Sudras. Bhagavatam portrays Devaki as the frail and timid wife of Vasudeva, but we must note and be aware that she is the goddess Kali, who is a powerful entity. She can fight her own battles. That is why I do not understand why Vasudeva would enable Yashoda to have Krishna as her son when it is Devaki who gave birth to him.
We can discuss it another time. It's time constrained now. It's long. It's not just cut and dry. Okay? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Kartik Mas ki jai. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.